Welcome to Mic Check with Nikita. Hey, Drew.
What's up, man?
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
We're both nervous, but it's okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say my first time doing this, so yeah.
So I started off almost all the episodes by just saying, thank you so much for joining.
No
Every
problem.
single person that I've pitched this so far to has immediately said yes within the first few seconds of like hearing it. And I honestly am so grateful for it. It feels nice. I was actually listening to your voice notes this morning, just like prepping. And bro, I started tearing up at the end when you were
What?
like, thank you for having me. I think it's because when you're starting to like do something new or when you have a vision of doing something different that's a little bit out of your box, like it's really nice to hear and have a support system that's not just your family and friends, right? Like
Yeah.
I consider you a friend, definitely, but we are work colleagues and foremost.
Mm.
So when you have someone or a few people that are automatically backing you just by hearing your idea and having that trust in the work that you've done before and not asking for, well, I need to see product first before I say yes to this, it's a great feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not to toot my own horn, but it feels like a little testament to like what I've done in the past.
Yeah.
But that being said, you already heard the vision, the idea. We've spoken about this before. Again, just to reiterate, my idea is to essentially bring us as an Indo-Caribbean community as a whole, all together if we can, whether it's geographically, or just, on social media, whatever the case is, right? We have Indo-Caribbeans in, again, the Netherlands, South Africa, Fiji, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Canada, the USA, right? Essentially, a lot of our industry is siloed, and we get very rare chances of being all together as an industry.
Yeah.
And that is one of my, at least preliminary goals to of why I started this podcast, right? Also, as someone who has been in the industry, I recognize what it takes to stay in this industry. One, to get your foot in the door, and then two, to stay in the industry and the amount of hard work that comes with. That being said, when we are looking at our artists that are putting out music, we are looking at the people that are singing that music and the people that are in the music videos and the people that are performing that on stage. We don't really essentially understand or really take into account what it takes to put out that music. Essentially, it's out of sight, out of mind, right?
Yeah.
We have very rare opportunities where we get to talk about the work that is put behind putting out that music. Because essentially, like our artists, we look at them as just people that are singing the songs and the names that are bringing this music to life, but they are brands. And behind those brands, there are a bunch of people that bring that out, right? Whether
Right.
you're a manager, whether you're a drummer, whether you're a guitarist, whether you're the actual music producer putting in the arrangements together, right? All of that comes into play. And that is one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to talk to you and have you on the podcast. As someone who knows you personally, I know how much work you put into the music that you put out. I also have been privy to just, and not bringing in any names, but like I'm actually can say that you are someone who's also been able to say like, no, I don't want to do this because I don't think it's going to be good content,
Yeah.
or good music. And that's why I wanted to have you on the podcast, because you essentially not only are someone who's bringing out the music, producing the music that a lot of our artists are putting out there for the public to hear, but you are also trying to and continuously trying to bring out good content, right? It's very hard to do that.
Thank you.
So that being said, I wanted to just go back into your background. I know we've talked about this. We've done a little bit of research. I've done my research. You sent me stuff before, but I know that
Mm.
you essentially come from a background of music. You are actually trained in music producing.
Yeah.
You've gone to school for it. It's not just a
Yeah.
whim.
my dad was a DJ back in Guyana, so I was born in Guyana. When he came over here, he basically did the same thing, and it was very, like, I would say, popular when it came to more corporate weddings. Like, he wasn't a club DJ at all, so I felt like I that's why I feel like I'm a little bit different when it comes to the music side of things, of seeing how it also translate on, not like outside of the club. You know what I mean? Outside of like just nightclub life when it comes to people's weddings and corporate events, and how, music is taken in by like different, in different areas.
Mhm.
But yeah, like he used to bring me along to all the DJ gigs and stuff, and I got into that heavily with him. So every other weekend we would be somewhere. Um, and I guess I just kept liking music, and it was just in the family. Like, all my brothers had cars, sound systems and stuff. It was just always around. And one of my uncles made a comment of, like, for me to take it further, and what he's like, it would be cool if you made the music that people like DJ, right? So I was like, you know what? It always stuck with me. And then a well-known guy that we both know, Richard Ramnarayan. So they're family friends with ours, like, especially when coming up with music and stuff. We were really, really close with them since I was like probably like 11,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, he told me one day that, if you really like something, like, just like how you become a doctor, an accountant or something, you would go to school for it, and you would train yourself because you want to be good at something, right? If it's just a hobby, then yeah, you can just do it for fun. But if it's something that you actually want to learn and want, like, you have a passion for it, it's not a bad thing to learn about it. Actually history and stuff about it. And here in Canada, it's not like Guyana or Trinidad, where they're teaching you chutney soca, soca, calypso. It's nothing like that. It's all North American music, like jazz, blues. So I was more into that coming up before I got into chutney soca. So right after DJing, I went to school at Metalworks Institute here, so which is like a studio, like one of the biggest studios in the GTA, and they have a school attached to it. So got to be experienced to the whole Drake's and Justin Bieber's. They all record albums there. It's like basically like the home recording studio for everybody in Canada. Um, Graduated from that, was strictly into like R&B and hip hop, but as a little coolie boy in Brampton, and like we're in Brampton at the time. It's very hard to make it in any type of like main genre of music, like pop, R&B, reg, like, those type of things, especially like when you're not exposed or have anyone that is in that industry, because it's easy to be in an industry when you know someone, right? So I didn't know anyone, and then, I thought about taking the same knowledge that I had from school and doing it with, you know, our own music and our own culture, and trying to bridge that gap and maybe one day actually take it to a main stage, right? So that was kind of the goal of, like, just changing the way our people take in music and just the sound in general. Right. So then me and my brothers had a band back in the day called the Fabulous Crew. So my little brother used to sing. My brother Mikey used to be the drummer. My brother Ryan was the bass guitarist, and I was the keyboardist and programmed everything on the band leader, you can say. Um, but yeah, like, my uncle was a part of the band also. He's the one that taught me, Steven Lokanan, big up to Steve. He's the one that taught me how to play keys, actually. And in high school, I took classes all throughout high school for piano, music theory, and everything like that. So, like, I actually trained myself to want to learn this full time and like do this professionally. And I'm glad, I'm blessed that I'm getting to do that now. But yeah, like, after everyone kind of grew up and moved apart, and like, kind of not moved apart, but like get into other interests. The older you get, the more things you get interested in, and everyone started to take their own paths. I stuck with it, and that's when college metalworks happened. And then yeah, right after that, I just thought, you know what, I wasn't doing any chutney soca after the band in college because I was so focused on hip hop and R&B. After college, I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to take this knowledge that I have and see if I can make something out of it with our own genre of music. And, because I already had connects with the band and, with Ray them and all that stuff too. I'm like, you know what, this might be something that I can hopefully push and see where it goes. And thank God we're here now. So
So I just want to take it to something very basic and just ask you, what do music producers actually do? For those who don't know, because
that's
there's a
a
huge distinction. We've talked about this before. There's a
yeah.
huge distinction between a remixer, a DJ, and a music producer. So what exactly does a music producer do?
I probably classify it as two things. There's like beat makers, right? And then actual producers, like music producers. So I would say like a beat maker is someone like classified as like a DJ, remixer, stuff like that, where it's just more mainly rhythm focused, right? And not really music theory, chords, keys. So right, so that's why you see a lot of like stuff you hear online is a mashup of two songs, but you know what I mean. It's more rhythm based rather than actual chords, keys, and everything. I feel like a music producer is someone that is involved in like each step of the whole process. You know, when it comes to lyrics, like helping the writer write it, changing things around, bringing things forward, backwards, like you know what I mean, switching things around. When it comes to marketing, you know, I feel like I have input on everything that I've worked on. I felt like I've been involved. I have my hand in every aspect of it. All right. So when it comes to music, even music videos, even people asking about, you know, what making the music, you have a vision sometimes, you know, when you're making it, you picture something, you already can see a video in your head. So I feel like working with an actual producer, someone that is their vision actually matters to you. And, you know, you guys are, music is always a collaborative effort. So I
Yeah.
felt like that's what music producers do. It's not just making the beat and then sending it off and that's it. Like it's about recording vocals. Like I record a lot of my songs myself, right? Like there with the artist recording it, you know. So coaching somebody through, even though someone could be the most talented singer, it has nothing to do with, you know, them not having talent enough to record themselves. It's more like sometimes you hear something that somebody else doesn't, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Sometimes an artist will hear something that I don't, and it's just a collaborative effort. It makes the song better. It makes everybody happy in the room, and it just makes for awesome music. So I feel like it's a big difference of what producers do and what beat makers do. So I feel like that's a music producer, just an all rounder, somebody that helps produce the track you hear, what that comes to your speakers and your ears.
What is the actual process like? So when and does an artist come to you and just say, I want to make a song and here's the song and let's just, make something of it? Do they give you a specific genre? How does that process actually start? Like how does that conversation start and then what does that look like following through?
I feel like it's either or. Sometimes I've been the one to approach someone to be like, hey, I've made this and I feel like I can hear you on it, right? Or just an idea of bouncing it off like a few people to be like this. I hear these people on it, or an artist would come to me and just be like, hey, I have an idea, either for like a chutney soaker or like a Bollywood cover or just anything. So it's mainly more of an artist reaching out to me to do something like an idea of what they have for like a cover or any type of song, or there's also me reaching out to other people saying, hey, this is something that you could probably do.
Got it.
Yeah.
And when you guys are actually sitting down and having actually starting to produce a song, are you a part of the process where you choose and we're talking about let's just say strictly Bollywood covers, right? Are we talking about you choose a song or they may sometimes come to you with a song?
Both, right?
Both.
Sometimes they may come to me with a song. There's a lot of people that have come to me with a song, and you know, I feel like in our industry, honesty goes a long way, right? And like not every song is meant for everyone, right? So I feel like yeah, but there's a lot of artists that will send me a song to be like, hey, let's do this, and I would just be like, hey, like maybe give them another option to be like, let's do this one. I feel like this one's more suitable to your voice, your tone, even image, right? Like whatever the song is actually about, right? Because it's the worst when you're singing something that like has nothing to do with what you're about, right? Especially with Bollywood and stuff like that. A lot of there's a lot of people do Bollywood covers and stuff, but kind of forget about the meanings of the song. So that has a lot to do with it. So yeah, it goes both ways. I would either suggest something better or agree if it's a great song choice as well, right?
And how do you come up with the arrangements? Because I think that whole creative part is very
Yeah, I'm
mind-boggling to me.
I'm well, you've heard like stuff that I've made before. I'm very different when it comes to Bollywood covers. I there's a huge I wouldn't say issue, but a conversation about like Caribbean people or Guyanese Trini people doing Bollywood covers. I feel like it's totally fine because music is always inspired by something else. I feel right, like
Yeah.
it's Bollywood. That song was inspired by probably country or something else. Like there's a lot. Like we music is always taken by something or influenced or inspired. It doesn't have to be copied, right? And for us, I feel like it's totally fine doing Bollywood covers, but make it your own, right? When you're basically kind of making it exactly like the original, music wise, singing wise, like, even promo everything, like we might as well just download the instrumental and sing over it. But I feel like with me, I like to make it my own, be different. I like when making Bollywood covers, it should be like when as soon as you press play, you're not gonna know what song it is until that person or artist or whatever starts singing it. So I feel like that's what I aim for, to try to be different. Of when you hear it, it doesn't sound like anything you've heard before. So that's why I try to be stay in my own lane type thing or make my own sound.
So are you someone who's more like technical with your arrangements? So like me, and it's completely different when it comes to dance, but with me, I'm technically trained in Kathak, Odissi, and Bharatanatyam, so that's why I understand beats, right?
Mm.
But for me, it's like I hear a song, if I'm feeling like the song itself, and it's just a weird feeling, but if I'm feeling it, I can almost like close my eyes and see the choreography and like
Yeah,
feel it coming out of my arms and my legs,
yeah,
basically, right?
yeah.
So how does that play into like how you're arranging a song? So like how do you know like okay, we need to put a beat here or we need to change up the tone here? Like what does that look like? And what does that conversation look
I
like?
feel like the same thing you said. It's like it's feeling. It's so hard. Like even with yourself with dance, right? Like it's somebody asks you the same question, you're gonna be like you don't really know because it's just like a feeling that you get that you feel like something needs to be changed here or something needs to be different there.
Yeah.
There is technical to it, especially like learning music theory and actual like music itself, how things should be laid out. I wouldn't say there is a right or wrong, but technically there is standard rules that you follow. I feel like courses of how long a course should be, a verse should be, stuff like that. Things can alter, right? But yeah, like you said, like I think it's a feeling. You really can't explain like how it actually comes about. I feel like it's just once you feel it and you kind of it translates through your body. It translates through my fingers. It translates through like your dance moves and everything. I feel like it's
Yeah.
just a feeling. I feel like once you're connected to a song and you know what you're doing, like I've every song that I've done, I've always had my own influence on. Like I'm grateful that the artists that I work with give me a lot of creative control when it comes to the songs that we do. So it's me. I put a lot of emotion and stuff to it. Same thing like with you and dance.
So I guess, I mean, we already discussed a little bit about like the little hot take of Bollywood covers in the industry, right? But I think one thing that I wanted to talk about is a recent current event, I guess we can say, where an artist had put out a song. We don't have to take any names or anything like that, but
Mhm.
an artist had put out a song, and there was sort of a double meaning to the song, but the imagery was different or a little bit offensive to a lot of people, right? When you are taking on a project, are you essentially like being very conscious about all of that? Because essentially, right, if we want to look back at our culture as a whole, cricket and music and our chutney soca industry is what really influences our worlds, right? Like our
Yeah,
culture.
yeah.
That being said, are you taking that into account? Like, do you feel a sense of responsibility with the content that you're putting out? And
Of
I know
course.
we've talked about this on before, but I wanted to bring this up here because I feel like
Mhm.
it's a huge deal in the sense of being able to say yes or no to something.
Oh yeah, I feel like it's everybody's responsibility. I don't think it's just on an artist as well, right? Again, not all ideas are good ideas, right? And I think again, it takes a team to put a project together, and sometimes it's not. It shouldn't be about money. You should also be cautious. I think we all should be cautious about like what we put out there, right? And what we how we represent. It's not just about us, especially in our industry. We're in an entertainment industry. You know, it's
Yeah.
not just about one individual or one artist or whatever. So I feel like um, everybody's releases is also gonna contribute to the whole industry in general, not just one artist, right? So I feel like with the said song you're talking about, double meaning songs have been a thing since our industry was created, like since the beginning. I don't think it has anything to do with the meaning of the song or the double meaning, or exactly what you said. It's the imagery of it. Um, Not again, not in other genres of music like rap, hip hop, dancehall. Not every song is supposed to be PG-13, right? There is a sub genre of for those things as well. But in our culture and our yeah, in our culture, you can say in general, we don't have the distinguishing of like this is not for children, this is for
Right.
children type thing. Everything is kind of posted freely, especially in our community, especially on YouTube itself. Like there's not like any type of viewer discretions or anything, especially with our music. It's mainly Bollywood. It's mainly, harmless, you can say. Yeah, double meaning songs are there, but like, you know, if you understand type thing. But when you translate that to visuals, it changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you put it on a platform where everyone of all ages can see, then it becomes an issue. I feel personally, it's just my opinion. I feel like it has nothing to do with the double meaning song itself. Everybody deserves to have an opinion. Everyone deserves to express their art and the way they wanna, their music. It has nothing to do with the song. The song's great. It's just the way you put it out there when you are just make it just as clever as the actual song. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just the imagery. I feel like people should, just be responsible, man. Like kids are watching these things. We're growing the next generation. You're influencing the next generation of artists, producers, musicians, everything. So the things that you put out there, the younger ones are seeing those things to be like, okay, I want to be an artist. I want to sing songs like this. I want to make videos like this. Videographers are out there and everything. So, you know, things that you put out are definitely going to impact the whole industry, not just one person. That's just my personal take on it. So even when it comes to Bollywood covers and stuff like that too, is the way you do it and the way you put it out there is you're leaving it there. It's going to be out there. So just make sure that you're happy with it and your team is happy with it, and don't be a yes man. That's a big one too. I feel like there's a lot of people that they just agree. So yeah, you probably face that too, especially in the dance industry as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a huge. I mean, I've been saying this for the past few episodes that we've been shooting right now, but we're in a space of change. Like, I think that's just the
Yeah.
reality of it, and it's not just the Indo-Caribbean culture itself or the music industry itself. It's literally our entire world, right? Like, we've been changing since COVID, and people are becoming more aware of current events. People are becoming more aware of social stigmatisms. People are being more aware of just in general, like, we can't say certain things that we used to say back in the day, right? Like, certain terms are now considered derogatory. Certain terms are you can't say certain things in a specific way because it's now considered taboo, right? And that's just socially in general. Our entire generation is going through that rebirth, but it's also now starting to affect the culture, right? It's translating through that. Has there been an instance, and you don't have to give names, obviously, but where you've been able to like where you've said no to a project because you don't resonate with it, and it may have been a project where like you could have been like, damn, this could have been a big one,
Mhm.
but it just doesn't agree with me as a person.
Yeah, I feel like as a producer, yeah, like I said, it's for me, I can't. I'm not a yes man at all, especially when I have like when you have a brand and you have a business and stuff like that too. Um, your name goes on it. Whatever you put out there represents what your product that you're selling at the same time, right? So I feel like yeah, I've had projects that have come across my way and I've had to respectfully just decline or because it just wasn't what I represent, what I put out. It wasn't my style, but I did you prime example, like there's other producers out there that do a lot of traditional, right? Like Spread Pal, for example, like amazing guys that pave a lot, like just they're trendsetters on their own. They're in their own type of lane, right? I can't do stuff like that, right? So I feel like something like that, prime example, if someone were to bring me a traditional chutney, I could definitely record one, but it would be in my own modern way of how I think chutney soca or chutney, traditional chutney would sound to me now in 2025 coming on to 2026.
Yeah.
But if somebody wanted something like traditional, like back in the day, I would respectfully have to say, try Spread Paw, try, other producers that are experienced on those things. And there's so many in our industry, especially that I feel like not everyone needs to try to, you know, put their hand in something that they feel like they can do it. Again, it's not to say not to try,
Mm.
but I feel like when it comes to our genre of music, it's okay to say and okay to pass on things, right? Not everything is kind of meant for you.
So, just going back to a little bit of what you've done in the past, right? Just for those of you who don't know, you've come out with a song with Raymond Ramrine, Dayaks or Premki,
Mm.
right? Well, Dayaks are A Magical Love. Came out a song with Sandesh Sudin
Mm.
and Tony Cuts. There's a bunch, right? But those are just the three names that I'm just going to put out there in terms
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
that are people in the audience who would be watching would just right off
Mm.
the bat would kind of know, right? And out of all of the music that you've produced, and I don't, obviously, you can't choose your favorite one, right? But in terms of the one song that I guess started off as one certain project, but then changed into something completely different at the end. Do you have that type of song? And it doesn't have to be where it sounded completely different. I mean, in the sense of like that journey to that final product meant everything.
That's a hard question. That's a good one because I've worked. I felt like a lot of my projects are like that.
Yeah.
Um, Again, I start off with an idea, and everything for me is like it's not just me that produces it. I feel like it has a lot to do with just a team effort on everything. Like I would say, like even the like I can talk about the Raymond Ramnarine one. That one started off with initially like my ideas, and then stuff was added by Richard, stuff was added by Ray. So I felt like and then it came out to a phenomenal thing. I know, but it was a collaborative effort. It wasn't just me, it wasn't just Richard, it wasn't just Ray, it was everybody, right? Vashali had her take on it. Like everybody had a piece of input that actually mattered, that actually, was thought about. Even if it wasn't good or whatever, it was, like I said, it was still a conversation. So that project I can say definitely started off as something small, but ended up as in something like great, and it's coming up to 1 million views now actually too. So it's like that was a great one. I could say that's a perfect example of a team effort. Like it started off of like if you heard the original, it was same idea, same everything, same layout, same arrangement. But then what Raymond and Richard did to it afterwards, with again with me and everything, like it was they never did anything that I felt like I never agreed with or anything like that. That's why the song came out amazing, and I love that. That's one of my favorite songs that I think I've done.
So essentially, how long does a project like that take? Right? Like,
Mm.
I mean, I'm sure there's variations, right? But are you someone who can produce within a timeline? And let's just say, like, and I'm just throwing out random numbers because obviously I don't know exactly how long the process would take. But let's just say, like, something was given to you today and say we need to launch in 2 months. Can you work under that pressure and do it? Or do you feel like it's more of I have to put out something that I love regardless of the time?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both. Like if someone gives me a project to say, "Hey, I need this for X amount of time," depending on, I think like how full my plate is at the moment, and if I could make it happen, and depending on the song itself too. I feel right. Like timing is a big thing when it comes to actual, depending on what you release. Um, Example like the Tony Cuts, the Bad Talk that we just did, the
Yeah.
recent one. That song was done, recorded, released within a week and a half, like complete. But that Yakshar, right, was a year and a bit,
Wow.
So like yeah, it all depends on like again if it's a collaborative effort, and timing is a big thing. Maybe it just wasn't the right time for us to release something like that at the time, and it just it wasn't there yet. I feel like it's like we touched on before, a feeling of knowing like okay, now's the time for this. Like Bad Talk, we knew that we were just making that for fun actually, and we were just after Tony put his vocals on it and I sent it over, we're like, you know what, like we knew it was something, we knew that it was gonna do well, so within a week and a half it was already out on YouTube and everything registered, all of that. So
Being that you have your own take, obviously, on any of the music that you put out, do you feel like you need to stay busy? And I say that in the sense, in the regards of an artist wants to get booked every weekend, right? That's part of the goal, right? Like you want to be loved by everyone enough to get booked every weekend, have multiple gigs a weekend. Are you someone that strives to have multiple projects in the works? Or again, it's almost at your leisure? Like if it's something that you absolutely love, you're going to take it. If not, and I say that because knowing you, like, and knowing you personally, like, this is not your only career,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. With us being in North America, I feel like it kind of has to be leisure.
yeah.
You kind of have to take on what you can only because life, family, everything that's over here. Not to say that people in Guyana and Trinidad don't have life and family, but it's a lifestyle over there. For us it's different, like having a 9 to 5 and then coming home and trying to do music full time is definitely hard. It takes a lot of time away, especially from loved ones and stuff like that too. In Trinidad and Guyana, when you're like an artist or a producer, sometimes it's full time, or even a hobby becomes like a part time job because it's every weekend. Even during the week, for us, it's very occasional, like once every couple months if we have a show. For you guys, like dance is like it's you would like it to be every single weekend, but sometimes it's not like that. So I feel like as a producer, I take on what I can. It's like sometimes I would have to say no because my plate's already full, or I don't want to commit to something knowing that I can't fulfill a timeline or something. So I don't want to say yes. So yeah, I think I take on what I can. Like I try to keep myself busy for time for moving forward and stuff, but appropriately, like kind of like prioritize what it is, what can take a year, what can take 2 weeks, what can take a month. So I feel like I schedule myself properly in terms of that.
Do you feel like music producers get enough credit that they should be?
No, I feel like they don't, because there's a lot without, I feel like without a music producer there's no music, so what are you really gonna listen to? Yeah, you can't listen to an acapella all day. I feel like a lot of producers don't get the credit that they deserve, because it takes a lot to go into music, especially when you're doing revision after revision. If you're trying to obviously please a whole team of people, it does take a lot. But yeah, man, like for artists watching this, big up your producers, big up all the producers too.
The one thing that I will say is I know it's a Drew song when I hear Yo Drew in the arrangement. And I think that's
Yeah.
amazing. I think Maha also does that too. Like you always hear that in the
Mhm.
arrangement. Do you feel like, I mean, essentially, right? Like the one thing about having an artist bringing out music, again, going back to the idea that they're brands,
Mm.
right? Essentially, it's a double-edged sword, right? Like you want to get the credit where credit is due, right? And of course, everyone deserves that. But then we're also kind of you're also kind of signing away in the sense of you're not the face,
Yeah.
right? So
Mm.
the audience, again, it goes back to the idea of out of sight, out of mind. Do you feel like, and again, we just talked about music producers not getting enough credit as they should be. Do you feel like you all should be coming out into the forefronts a little bit more? I mean, in the sense, you do it in some ways, right? Not as a music producer, but as someone who does Ableton, right? Like for your
Yeah.
artists,
Yeah.
right? And I want to also distinguish that and go into that a little bit because you're not only producing music, but then you're also having a collaborative effort on stage with an artist, right? A
Mm.
lot of times people look at someone who's doing that, they think, oh, that's just the DJ playing a track, right?
Mm.
But when you look at a duo like Richard Ramnarayan and Raymond Ramnarayan, or like you and Randy Reckless,
Yeah.
there's a specific feeling on stage and how you go through with creating that vibe for the crowd, right? And I say that in the sense of you have to build that relationship, right? So aside from the music producing, having that relationship with an artist, are you able to do that with multiple people? Like obviously you've done it with Tony, you've done it with
Mm.
Vicati, you've done it with Randy, right? How essential is it to build that relationship and also have that trust on stage and how much time does that take? Because at the end of the day, music producing is one thing, you're in the back sort of getting things together and having that
Mm.
collaborative effort, having your name, I guess, on the actual like track, right? When it comes to logistics and things like that. But when you're on stage with an artist, your face is essentially there. You're
Mm.
being seen. How much time does it take to build that relationship? Because I feel like, and we've all done so many shows, like you and I have done it too. You're not traveling, especially to do these shows. We've seen like DJs come on stage, try to play a track, and not really know what to do next with an artist, but they have a specific vibe going on.
Mm.
What does that relationship mean? Obviously, I know the answer, but I just want to put it out there for the viewers that are watching so that you can
I feel
say,
like for to touch on the whole credit thing again that you were talking about, I feel like the whole credit where credit is due thing, I feel like it's not just one person's responsibility to do that, right? Like prime example, what you're doing right now is giving a producer credit where credit is due, right? Like you taking the time out to not just only interview an artist, which is the face of the industry, but actually interview people outside and the inside people that do this stuff. So this, what you're doing right now, is a prime example of giving credit where credit is due, is actually shining a light on things. It's not, I don't think it's on an artist to say, yo, like always big up my producer and stuff like that. I feel like it's everybody. The same way how a producer would talk great, about artists and work with artists and all that stuff like that. I feel like it just give I feel like just give everybody their fair share, give them their flowers, even if it's just a thank you text or something. I feel like just something simple like that goes a long way. When it comes to relationships, I feel like for me it's a lot. I wasn't. I got to big up Randy for this too because um, since the band stuff, I guess I was a little bit on the forefront with that, but that was years ago, like teenagers. And like when I, after college and stuff, I never really did a lot of live. Um, I mainly focused on production, and Randy was the one that actually convinced me to come back out and do Ableton. And, so he's kind of more responsible for me having my face out there and on flyers and kind of having people know who's making these songs and stuff that they're hearing and playing at parties and in their cars and stuff. So I gotta thank Randy for that. He has a lot to do, and then he's the one that also introduced me to Tony Vicati and those guys. I feel like Randy deserves a whole like 2 hour interview with you because that's one guy. That's one person I can say. I'm gonna take a little bit now to even say like that's one person I can say that's helped multiple people, and he's one person that deserves a lot more credit that he's actually like been given, and I feel like he deserves a lot more shine than like what people give him because he actually goes out of his way to help a lot of people and a lot of like that you don't hear about and that the average listeners and like watchers and stuff don't see and don't like know about. But yeah, like credit like that, I feel like building a relationship on stage, like me and Randy's relationship is, I feel like we don't, sometimes we have a gig and we don't talk until like the night before the gig. And I know exactly what he's doing. I know exactly what we're gonna do. Like we've done it for so long that if we've ever made a mistake on stage, like you would never know because we would be laughing, we'd be joking around or whatever. I felt like us being comfortable translate also in the crowd. And I feel like it goes the same way with Tony Viccati. I've been doing Ableton for those guys for a few years now. And the same exact thing. Like we go up there, we have fun. And when you do that and you're on stage having a good time, it translates to the crowd. And it gets like, that's where the chemistry comes from. And I feel like with DJs, the lack of chemistry is there because it's just for them, it's just temporary for that moment, you know? So they're not really given a chance to make a relationship with an artist and stuff because 10 minutes before that, they were handed a USB stick and be like, yo, this artist is coming. I'll play 1 through 7. That's labeled. For Ableton guys, it's not like that at all, right? Anyone that runs Ableton in a band or, just solo, it takes a lot. There's a lot of organization. It's a lot more customizable and more personal performance rather than playing 1 to 10 or whatever. It's more personal. It's more interactive with the crowd. It's more interactive with you and the performers. So I feel like that's where the relationship comes from.
That also goes into the idea of adding value to an ensemble cast,
Yeah,
right? Like
that's a big one. Yeah,
that's a huge deal
yeah,
in especially those like I've been talking about Reviver all day, so I'll
Mhm.
just talk about Reviver.
Yeah. No,
As
that's crucial, man. Like you don't even have to even talk about that. Like we talk about this all the time.
yeah,
Like especially like artists that get booked every weekend. And like again, it's not just one artist or whatever. Like it's an ongoing thing in our industry. Quality, man. Like your performance is everything. You leave people with how they look at you going forward and how they listen to your future music and your future tracks. So when you go there and you're not prepared, and you go up there and you put a DJ on a spot or anyone on a spot because like you're just going for performance and it's for you it's just 10 minutes. For a lot of people, that pay money to come and see you, it's different. And yeah, like bigger artists, I feel like they should have either a DJ or an Ableton guy that they strictly travel with, right? I feel like artists that go and just walk with a USB. Yes, it's cost efficient, and that's the thing with also with promoters. It's full circle, right? I feel like there has to be like the budget has to be there for a DJ for Ableton guy, and and that gives an artist the accessibility to bring one, right? But
there's also it's like and again a double-edged sword, right? But you do I particular and I will say this in the sense and when we go back to cost effectiveness, you don't need an Ableton person or a specific DJ to travel with you for every single gig, right?
yeah,
But when you know that you have something like a Reviver or a Clash
yeah,
of the Titans or a Chutney
correct.
World or, just one of those huge gigs or those huge performances where there will be a lot of people there that will impact your career or take your career further by being on that stage and being on a stage with multiple renowned artists, pick and choose your battles and where you're investing, right? Like
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
feel like
100%. That
if
I agree on.
if
Yeah, no,
you're
I
even
don't
if it's
expect
not in your
that.
promoter's budget, I feel like
Yeah,
as an artist, you're investing in yourself at that point.
exactly. That's exactly what I mean, right? Or even like let's just even say like yeah, you don't need an Ableton guy for every gig, right? But it doesn't cost you anything to kind of find out who the DJ is the week before, reach out on your own to have a conversation, jump on a phone call, a video call or something, run down your set before your gig. I feel like it's irresponsible and it makes again it's not about you, right? It's about the genre in general, right? Like it looks bad. Like let's just say someone from outside of our genre is going to that bar, that restaurant, that party, or whatever, right? For the first time, someone being not from our culture at all. When you go there with a USB and give the DJ and there's mistakes left and right, it doesn't just look bad on you. It looks bad on West Indian music, Guyanese, Chinese, everybody that's involved in our industry, the DJ, the artist, everyone. It doesn't look professional. So yeah, it doesn't have to be anything regarding money, right? Just It just has to do with just actual general care about what you're going to do, the job you're going to do, right? If you can't afford to have a DJ and or an Ableton guy travel with you, and it's not in a budget, by all means, that's fine. But still, I feel like you should pick up the phone or call a promoter and ask, hey, who's playing my music? What's this guy's name, his phone number? Contact him, give him your songs ahead of time. And when I talk about like credit and people that don't get enough credit, DJs are another one. Because I've done it, and I seen like a lot of DJs get so much hate, yo. Especially like from a lot of people in our industry, from promoters to artists and everything. But like I've been there, right, and getting handed a USB stick or right when you're in the middle of a set to be like, yo, in 5 minutes this guy is gonna go come up, and you had no idea about anything, right? And like, let's just say, like, God forbid you didn't bring like a USB hub that you have a spot to plug in another man's USB stick. Like it's a DJ's, like they go through a lot at a party, and they're the main reasons for a lot of well, they're the main reasons for all songs to be traveled and get to places, and they're the ones shopping the music and making people listen to it and introducing them to new songs, old songs, and keeping things relevant. So yeah, big up all my DJs, man. Like a lot of DJs don't get credit. That's what people you should interview too, with some DJs.
Yeah. And I can tell you, I've been on that end where DJs looked at me and they're like, Nikita, 2 minutes, this person got to go, and I don't even have the list. Like, come on, it's not in
Yeah,
order.
a
What's
lot of
going on?
DJs don't. A lot of DJs don't like. They go through a lot, especially like when you're, you like when you do corporate, when you do weddings and stuff like that. It's stressful. It's 100% stressful. So like imagine like an artist. Yes, it's hard on an artist to go up there and give a USB stick and go and stand in front of a crowd and try to get people hype. But it's also hard on a DJ that just gets handed that, and his responsibility is to make this guy sound good and also get people interacted and stuff like that too. So again, music is a collaborative effort, right?
Yeah, and I think, it's it's also what a lot of people forget and a lot of artists forget. When you're performing for an audience. So
Mm-hmm.
you're not there to perform for yourself because you can do that at home. You're there to have the people that are there to watch you enjoy themselves. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're not taking the extra time to just say, hey, I'm going to bring my set, even the night before or 2 days before, send over that person that list, it then takes away from the audience experience that's actually paying there to see you or coming out to see you.
Yeah, me and Randy talk about that a lot. So
Yeah.
in our industry, especially in performances, right, in the live sector of things, a lot of I feel like it's like an unsaid rule that people go up there and like, oh yeah, sing your own songs and whatever, um, or like people don't want to sing other people's songs and like vice versa, right? But like I said, I always try to say, it's not about you, yo. Like it's people are paying money to go there to see and be entertained. I don't think they care too much about like you singing a piece of a reggae song or a soca song or something. It's all about entertainment. Like me and Randy have gone all over this place, like from the UK to Atlanta to wherever, right? And
I was there for the London show.
yeah, and like, and he's a type of guy, like he doesn't have a huge catalog of music because he's so focused on entertaining in general, of like getting crowd engagement, pulling up people to dance, doing popular music, top 40s, and anything stuff that are outside of our genre. When it comes to dancehall, pop, like we did rap, hip hop, stuff like that on stage, like, but a lot of people would, like, I've had other artists tell me like, yo, we don't, like, I don't know those songs, I don't know how to sing those songs. But again,
Yeah.
sometimes it's not about you standing there singing the songs word for word. Maybe it's you playing the song so the crowd can sing it, so it can actually get people hyped. It's not about you actually learning how to sing a song. And then there's also artists that will go up there and try to sing a song but haven't taken the time to actually learn the words, so the song that they're singing is completely not the original song, right? So I
Yeah.
feel like just it kind of goes back to, if you like something and you want to learn how to do something, just educate yourself, and it translates to the crowd. When you know what you're doing, it works, right?
I think it's also the idea of like, if you're going to go into something, do it wholeheartedly and with all the effort possible and not just for the lack of a better term, half-ass it, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of it.
Yeah.
Well, Drew, I'm so happy I had you on this podcast episode.
No, it's a good talk. I'm looking forward to seeing like who else you talk to, because I feel like it's like we were touching on before. I feel like it's a great thing that you're doing on talking to people and not like that are inside the industry, like whoever it is. It could be artists and not just artists, like actual people like me, producers and dancers, DJs, whoever you have in the future. I feel like it's something good. We don't have this in our culture. We need more of this. So thank you for having me on this.
Of course. And I really do admire all the work that you've done. I mean, we're actually friends outside of all of this. So, like, I'm not, in a way, I'm being a little bit biased, but I do love most of the work that you put out. And I think that we've also I'm very lucky and thankful, again, I said this in the beginning, that I have a circle of people that I can actually go to and say, this is an idea, this is what I want to do, and that trust has already been built, right? So I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the episode, for trusting me with this. I know you don't usually do these things. I know you don't really like being too much in the limelight. So the fact that you decided to do this with me, it really is really special. And I'm really happy that I get to launch the podcast with the first few episodes, you being one of those guests.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being here, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Always.